Welcome to today's video about 15 hidden migraine symptoms. The fluorescent lights above your desk suddenly transform into searing blades of agony. That innocent hum of the air conditioning becomes a torturous symphony drilling into your skull. Your heart pounds as reality itself begins to shimmer and distort around you. This isn't stress. This isn't exhaustion. This is your brain launching a calculated psychological assault that's been building for hours without your knowledge. What if everything you thought you knew about migraines was wrong? What if the real horror lies in the 15 scientifically proven symptoms that hunt you like invisible predators, attacking your mind and body in ways that defy logic? These aren't just minor inconveniences. They're sophisticated psychological warfare, neurological sabotage that can predict, accompany, and follow the infamous head pain with terrifying precision. Your brain has been screaming desperate warning signals that you've been dismissing as coincidence, stress, or fatigue. Recent groundbreaking research from 2025, including the revolutionary prodrome trial, has shattered everything we thought we understood. These symptoms aren't random occurrences. They're your nervous system's calculated psychological assault, systematically exploiting your deepest fears about losing control over your own body and mind. The psychology behind this revelation is both fascinating and absolutely terrifying. Your brain, evolutionarily designed to protect you, becomes your most dangerous enemy. It amplifies ordinary sensations into unbearable torture, manufactures phantom symptoms that feel completely real, and triggers primal fears that make you question your own sanity. It's psychological manipulation at the cellular level. Your neurological system playing a cruel, sophisticated game where you don't even realize you're being manipulated. But today, everything changes forever. We're about to expose the 15 hidden symptoms that millions experience but never connect to their migraines. Now, let's dive straight into the first symptom you should never ignore. Throbbing or pulsating. Headache. The signature symptom that defines migraine isn't just pain. It's rhythmic torment that follows your heartbeat like a sinister metronome. This throbbing sensation occurs because migraine fundamentally alters how blood vessels in your brain behave, creating a pulsating pattern that synchronizes with your cardiac rhythm. The psychological impact creates helplessness as sufferers become acutely aware of their own pulse amplified in their skull. Recent research published in Nature Medicine in 2025 revolutionized our understanding of this phenomenon. Scientists discovered that the pulsating sensation isn't just about blood vessel dilation, as previously thought. Instead, it's connected to disrupted electrical networks in the brain that create a cascading effect through the trigeminal nerve system. This study revealed that the brain's electrical activity becomes chaotic during migraine attacks, creating waves of dysfunction that pulse through neural pathways. The most unsettling aspect is its one-sided nature in most cases. Your brain selectively targets one hemisphere, creating asymmetrical torture that makes simple tasks impossible. The pulsating pattern intensifies with movement, trapping sufferers in a cycle of limitation and pain. This creates a psychological prison where fear of intensifying pain becomes almost as debilitating as the pain itself. Next, Symptom 2. Nausea and vomiting. The stomach's rebellion during a migraine attack reveals the intricate connection between your brain and digestive system. Up to 90% of migraine sufferers experience nausea, making it one of the most common symptoms. This isn't simply a reaction to pain. It's a neurological event triggered by the same brain pathways that create the headache itself. Revolutionary research from 2025 published in the Journal of Neurochemistry uncovered the mechanism behind migraine-related nausea. Scientists found that CGRP, or calcitonin gene-related peptide, doesn't just affect blood vessels in the head. It directly influences the vagus nerve, which controls the gut-brain axis. This discovery explains why anti-CGRP medications are so effective at preventing both head pain and gastrointestinal symptoms. The psychological toll of persistent nausea extends far beyond physical discomfort. It creates anticipatory anxiety, where the fear of vomiting becomes so overwhelming that it can trigger additional symptoms or precipitate future migraine attacks. The brain begins associating certain environments with potential nausea, creating avoidance behaviors that gradually shrink a person's world. What makes this symptom particularly cruel is how it intensifies with movement, effectively trapping sufferers in stationary positions. Next, symptom 3. Sensitivity to light. Light transforms from life's natural illumination into an enemy during migraine attacks, creating hypersensitivity so severe that even dim lighting feels like staring directly into the sun. This photophobia isn't psychological weakness. It's a neurological reality where the brain's visual processing centers become hyperexcited, amplifying normal light signals into painful experiences. Cutting-edge research from Harvard Medical School published in early 2025 identified specific neural pathways responsible for migraine-related photophobia. Using advanced brain imaging, researchers discovered that migraine sufferers have altered connectivity between the visual cortex and pain processing centers. During attacks, normal light signals trigger excessive activity in pain pathways, creating a direct link between visual stimuli and head pain. This explains why even closing your eyes doesn't always provide relief. The psychological impact extends beyond immediate discomfort. It forces people into darkened rooms, creating isolation and social withdrawal that can lead to depression. The fear of encountering bright lights becomes so powerful that many sufferers begin avoiding social situations entirely. Modern life's constant exposure to artificial lighting makes this symptom particularly challenging, with LED lights and computer screens creating a dilemma where avoiding triggers means disconnecting from technology. Next, symptom 4. Sensitivity to sound. Sound becomes torture when your brain's auditory processing system malfunctions during migraine attacks, transforming everyday noises into painful assaults on your nervous system. This phonophobia isn't about volume alone. It's about how your brain interprets and amplifies sound signals, creating pain where there should be simple auditory information. Groundbreaking research published in Brain Communications in 2025 revealed the neurological mechanisms behind migraine-related sound sensitivity. Scientists using functional MRI technology discovered that during migraine attacks, the auditory cortex shows hyperactivation while simultaneously exhibiting decreased connectivity with inhibitory brain networks. This means your brain processes sounds normally, but fails to regulate the intensity, creating overwhelming sensory experiences from otherwise tolerable noise levels. The psychological ramifications are profound and often underestimated. Normal household sounds, children playing, traffic, conversations, become sources of anxiety and pain. This creates a hypervigilant state where the brain constantly monitors the acoustic environment. The anticipation of painful sounds can be as distressing as the sounds themselves, leading to chronic stress and social isolation. What makes phonophobia particularly insidious is its unpredictability, forcing sufferers to limit activities. Next, symptom 5. Visual disturbances. The visual aura phenomenon represents one of migraine's most mysterious and terrifying symptoms, where reality itself seems to malfunction before your eyes. These aren't hallucinations, but actual neurological events where the brain's visual processing centers create spectacular light shows, blind spots, and geometric patterns that can be both beautiful and deeply disturbing. Revolutionary research published in The Lancet Neurology fundamentally changed our understanding of migraine aura. Scientists identified that aura results from cortical spreading depression, a wave of electrical silence that moves across the brain at 3 millimeters per minute. This wave temporarily shuts down neural activity, creating visual disturbances that precede or accompany migraine attacks. Advanced imaging shows that this electrical storm affects multiple brain regions beyond just visual areas. The psychological impact of experiencing aura is profound and often traumatic. Watching part of your visual field disappear or seeing shimmering lights that don't exist creates existential terror that goes beyond physical discomfort. Many people report feeling like they're losing their sanity during their first aura experience, not understanding that their brain is generating these phenomena through predictable mechanisms. Perhaps most unsettling is the aura's predictive power, serving as a 30-minute warning system for impending head pain. Next, Symptom 6. Sensitivity to smell. Your nose becomes a hypersensitive detector during migraine attacks, transforming pleasant fragrances into overwhelming assaults on your nervous system. This osmophobia represents your brain's olfactory system becoming hyperreactive, where normal scents trigger intense discomfort and can even precipitate or worsen migraine episodes. Latest research from the International Headache Society published in Headache Medicine uncovered the neurobiological basis of migraine-related smell sensitivity. Scientists discovered that the olfactory bulb shows heightened activity during migraine attacks while exhibiting altered connections to emotional processing centers. This explains why certain smells don't just feel overwhelming. They can trigger immediate emotional responses like anxiety or nausea. The psychological burden extends far beyond temporary discomfort. Everyday environments become minefields of potential triggers. Perfumes, cleaning products, cooking smells can precipitate symptoms. This creates avoidance behaviors that significantly limit social interactions and daily activities, as the fear of encountering problematic odors becomes overwhelming. What makes smell sensitivity particularly challenging is its unpredictability. Scents that others find pleasant can become unbearable triggers. Next, Symptom 7. Neck pain or stiffness. The neck's involvement in migraine attacks reveals complex interconnection between your cervical spine and brain pain pathways, creating a web of discomfort that extends far beyond the head itself. This isn't secondary pain from tension. It's a primary symptom where the trigeminal nerve system directly communicates with cervical nerves, creating referred pain patterns that can precede, accompany, or follow the headache phase. Breakthrough research published in Cephalalgia identified specific anatomical connections that explain cervical involvement in migraine. Scientists using advanced neuroimaging discovered that the trigeminal nucleus extends into the upper cervical spinal cord, creating a direct pathway for pain signals between the head and neck. This research has revolutionized treatment approaches, showing that addressing cervical dysfunction can significantly reduce migraine frequency. The psychological impact creates a complex cycle of tension and anticipation. Sufferers often develop protective posturing, unconsciously adjusting their head and shoulder positions to minimize discomfort. This compensatory behavior creates additional muscle tension and can perpetuate the pain cycle, making recovery more difficult. Neck stiffness also affects sleep quality and daily functioning, with comfortable sleeping positions becoming elusive, leading to poor rest that triggers future attacks. Next, Symptom 8. Dizziness or vertigo. Balance becomes your enemy when migraine attacks the vestibular system, creating a disorienting world where up and down lose their meaning. This vestibular migraine affects your inner ear's connection to brain balance centers, producing sensations of spinning, floating, or swaying that can be more debilitating than head pain itself. Revolutionary research published in Neurology identified specific mechanisms behind vestibular migraine. Scientists discovered that the same CGRP pathways involved in head pain also affect the vestibular nerve, which explains why balance problems often occur independently of headache. Advanced imaging studies show altered connectivity between vestibular processing centers and visual spatial awareness regions during migraine attacks. The psychological toll of dizziness and vertigo is immense and often underestimated. When your fundamental sense of orientation becomes unreliable, it creates existential anxiety about your body's basic functions. Simple movements like standing up or walking can trigger intense spinning sensations, forcing sufferers to remain motionless and creating feelings of helplessness. Vestibular symptoms also create safety concerns, making driving dangerous and leading to agoraphobic behaviors. Next, symptom 9. Mood changes. Your emotional landscape transforms during migraine episodes, revealing the profound connection between pain pathways and mood regulation centers in your brain. These aren't simply reactions to feeling unwell. They're neurochemical events, where the same systems producing migraine symptoms directly alter emotional processing, creating dramatic mood swings that can precede, accompany, or follow the pain phase. Pioneering research published in Nature Neuroscience maps specific brain circuits responsible for migraine-related mood changes. Scientists discovered that serotonin and dopamine systems, which regulate both pain and mood, become dysregulated during migraine attacks. This research explains why emotional symptoms often appear hours or days before head pain begins, serving as early warning signals of approaching episodes. The psychological impact of unpredictable mood changes creates additional stress and social complications beyond physical symptoms. Relationships become strained when loved ones struggle to understand sudden irritability or depression that seems disproportionate to circumstances. The knowledge that mood changes signal impending migraine attacks creates anticipatory anxiety, where sufferers become hypervigilant about their emotional state. Next, symptom 10. Fatigue or low energy. Energy depletion during migraine attacks goes far beyond normal tiredness, representing a fundamental disruption of your brain's energy metabolism and cellular function. This isn't fatigue from poor sleep or overexertion. It's neurological exhaustion where your nervous system's energy reserves become depleted through the intense metabolic demands of migraine pathophysiology. Groundbreaking research published in Cell Metabolism revealed cellular mechanisms behind migraine-related fatigue. Scientists discovered that mitochondria, the powerhouses of cells, show decreased efficiency during migraine episodes, particularly in brain tissue. This research explains why rest alone doesn't restore energy during attacks, and why fatigue can persist for days after other symptoms resolve. The psychological burden of profound fatigue creates a sense of being disconnected from your normal self. Simple tasks that usually require minimal effort become overwhelming challenges, leading to frustration and self-doubt. The unpredictability of energy levels makes planning activities extremely difficult, creating anxiety about disappointing others or failing to meet responsibilities. Chronic fatigue associated with frequent migraines can fundamentally alter life trajectories and career paths. Next, symptom 11. Difficulty concentrating. Cognitive function becomes compromised during migraine episodes, creating a frustrating mental haze where thoughts feel thick and processing slows to a crawl. This brain fog isn't simple distraction from pain. It's a neurological impairment where the same brain networks affected by migraine directly interfere with executive function, memory, and information processing. Latest research published in Brain Connectivity identified specific neural networks responsible for migraine-related cognitive impairment. Using advanced diffusion tensor imaging, scientists discovered that white matter tracts connecting prefrontal cortex regions show temporary dysfunction during migraine episodes. This research explains why concentration problems can persist even after pain resolves, as these neural connections require time to fully recover. The psychological impact creates profound frustration and self-doubt about mental capabilities. Professional performance suffers when clear thinking becomes impossible, leading to anxiety about job security and competence. Students struggle with comprehension and memory formation, creating academic stress that can perpetuate the migraine cycle. Perhaps most concerning is how brain fog affects decision-making abilities, making simple choices overwhelming. Next, symptom 12. Tingling or numbness. Sensory disturbances during migraine attacks create alarming neurological symptoms where normal touch sensation becomes replaced by tingling, numbness, or abnormal sensitivities. These aren't circulation problems. They're direct evidence of how migraine affects sensory processing pathways in your brain and nervous system, creating altered perceptions that can be deeply unsettling. Revolutionary research published in Pain Medicine mapped neurological pathways responsible for migraine-related sensory symptoms. Scientists discovered that the same cortical spreading depression causing visual aura can affect somatosensory regions, creating waves of altered sensation that move across different body areas. This research explains why tingling often follows predictable patterns during migraine episodes. The psychological impact of losing normal sensation creates anxiety about neurological health. When familiar sensations become distorted or absent, it triggers primal fears about bodily function and control. Many sufferers worry about permanent nerve damage during their first experiences with sensory symptoms. Sensory disturbances also affect fine motor control, making detailed tasks difficult. Writing, typing, or manipulating small objects becomes challenging when fingertips feel numb or hypersensitive. Next, symptom 13. Food. Cravings. Your brain's appetite control systems become hijacked during migraine episodes, creating intense cravings for specific foods that seem to come from nowhere. These aren't simple comfort-seeking behaviors. They're neurochemical events, where the same neurotransmitter systems involved in migraine pathophysiology directly influence hunger signals and food preferences. Cutting-edge research published in Neurogastroenterology and Motility identified mechanisms behind migraine-related food cravings. Scientists discovered that fluctuations in serotonin and dopamine levels during migraine prodrome directly affect hypothalamic appetite centers. This research explains why cravings often precede other symptoms by hours or days, serving as early warning signals. The psychological complexity creates confusion and guilt around eating behaviors. Sufferers often blame their diet for triggering migraines, not realizing that cravings are actually symptoms rather than causes. This misunderstanding can lead to restrictive eating patterns that potentially worsen migraine frequency. Food cravings also create practical challenges around meal planning. The unpredictable timing makes it difficult to maintain consistent eating patterns. Next, symptom 14. Frequent yawning. Excessive yawning during migraine episodes reveals fascinating connections between brain function and pain pathways that researchers are only beginning to understand. This isn't fatigue-related yawning. It's a neurological phenomenon where dopamine systems in the brain become altered, triggering repetitive yawning that can herald approaching migraine attacks. Pioneering research published in Movement Disorders uncovered the neurochemical basis of migraine-related yawning. Scientists discovered that dopamine receptor sensitivity changes during migraine prodrome, affecting brainstem regions that control yawning reflexes. This research explains why yawning often occurs hours before other symptoms and why it's so persistent during episodes. The psychological impact of uncontrollable yawning creates social embarrassment and professional concerns. Constant yawning during meetings can be misinterpreted as boredom, creating awkward social situations that add stress to an already challenging experience. The inability to suppress this reflex makes sufferers feel out of control. Frequent yawning also affects sleep patterns and energy perception. Next, symptom 15. Increased urination or thirst. The final hidden symptom reveals how migraine affects your body's fundamental homeostatic systems, altering fluid balance and kidney function in ways that extend far beyond head pain. These changes in urination patterns and thirst aren't coincidental. They're direct results of how migraine affects hypothalamic function and hormone regulation systems. Latest research published in Endocrine Reviews identified specific hormonal changes responsible for altered fluid balance during migraine episodes. Scientists discovered that antidiuretic hormone, ADH levels, fluctuate significantly during migraine attacks, affecting kidney function. This research explains why some sufferers experience increased urination, while others retain fluid, depending on the timing and hormonal pattern of their episode. The psychological impact of altered urination patterns creates anxiety about bodily function and social inconvenience. Frequent urination can disrupt sleep and create embarrassing situations. The unpredictability makes planning difficult and can lead to avoidance of situations where bathroom access might be limited. Fluid balance changes also affect medication absorption. The 15 symptoms we've explored today represent just the beginning of our understanding of migraine's true complexity. As we've seen through groundbreaking research, including revolutionary CGRP studies and advances in neuroimaging, science is finally catching up to what sufferers have known for decades. The psychological threads woven throughout each symptom reveal how deeply migraine affects not just physical sensation, but emotional well-being, cognitive function, and social connections. Your brain creates a cascade of symptoms that can seem overwhelming. But knowledge is power, and understanding these patterns is the first step toward regaining control. If you recognized yourself in any of these symptoms, remember that you're not alone. Millions of people worldwide experience these same neurological events, and emerging treatments offer hope like never before. From personalized AI-driven therapies to innovative neuromodulation devices, the future of migraine treatment is brighter than ever. But here's what I want you to do right now. Pay attention to your body's signals. Start tracking these symptoms, not just the head pain. Notice the patterns, the timing, the connections between different sensations. Your brain is trying to communicate with you through these symptoms. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're just getting started on this journey of understanding your neurological health. Drop a comment below and tell me which symptom surprised you the most. Your insights could help others recognize their own patterns. And if this video helped you understand your migraine experience better, share it with someone who needs to see it. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into migraine science. Remember, understanding your symptoms is the first step toward reclaiming your life from this complex neurological condition.